Hi, this is John with Kingdom Air in Graham, Texas. Thought I'd shoot a quick video just to show you how to use the Rapco RA-825 aircraft brake rivet tool. I have a brake pad here that I've just removed from a Cherokee 6. I've got the casting mounted here in this vise. It's got lips on it that are specifically made to be put into a vise. The tool comes with these two pieces here. This is the device that's used to press out the old bearing, the old rivet. And then this is the one that's used to seat the new one. So first I'm going to take the old rivets out of this brake pad. And so I've got this pulled up a little bit, and I'm going to slip this over the end. And it doesn't really stay in place on its own. It kind of wants to fall off, so you kind of have to hold it in place. I'm going to turn the pad so that the shop head, what we call the shop head here, that's the rivet that you see here. It's got the rounded edges. That would be the shop head. This will be the preformed head. So the new rivet looks like this, and this is how it comes. It's got the opening on the end, and this is the end that we're going to form. So first I have to remove that old rivet. So I'm going to slip this onto the end here, and then I want to center this nipple right in the middle of that rivet. So I'm just going to hold that piece from falling off by pressing up with the brake pad as I thread this down. If it's not already, when you get the tool, you should put a couple of drops of oil on here to keep it lubricated. It works a lot better that way. Less chance of galling, plus helps prevent corrosion. So I'm going to turn this down until it's just seated. All right. Now at this point, it's really important that you're centered, because if you're not centered, you can actually damage this casting. This thing has a lot of force. So I'm going to eyeball here, and I am centered. I'm almost centered. All right, and then I'm just going to press it down, and you'll feel it when it lets go. There, it let go. I'm going to go ahead and push this a little more, and basically till this piece bottoms. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on it, but I was bottom this piece so that that rivet's pushed all the way out. Now I'm going to back it off. I'm going to pull that out. And the collar of the rivet actually stayed there, but there's the other piece, and it fell out. And now it's out of there. Now I'll just repeat the operation on the other rivet. Again, I'm holding it up with the brake pad itself. Centered, keep going. And if you feel like it's not centered, you can just kind of back off and try again. It's pretty forgiving. All right, it's loose. Back it off. Okay. And that's that. Now, in the process, you may find that you have some remnants of the brake rivet left there. If that's the case, you're going to want to make sure to clean that up before you seat a new rivet. In this case, I think we're clean. All right, I've got my new pad here. I'm going to lay it in place. And the pad has counterbored for the head of the rivet. So I got the pad in place. I'm just going to drop these rivets in. And I'm going to go ahead and put both in place, even though I'm squeezing them one at a time, because I want one to help place the spacing on the other. So I'm going to hold this one from falling out with this hand, and I'm going to place this piece. This is the forming head. I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to carefully set this on there so that that head goes into this inset, this counterbore on the pad, like so. Okay, now I'm ready to go. Now I'm just going to spin this down. Now this piece here, the end of this shaft, has got a little nipple right in the middle of it, and that helps center it up in the concave portion of that rivet. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that down until I just get contact. Now I've got contact. Now at this point, I'm holding the other rivet in place in my hand, and I'm going to, as I gradually increase pressure on this rivet, I'm going to constantly be moving this a little bit, because I want to know the moment that it bottoms out, because these rivets are very easily over squeezed, and in which case they will split. So I want to get a good crimp without excessive pressure. So I'm going to start turning this. You see how I'm kind of wiggling this so I can kind of tell where we are. And I'm probably getting pretty close. There it is. Okay, now it's pretty rigid. Now a technique that I found that works well is when I've got to this point, the tool is bottomed, it's pretty rigid, I'm going to turn, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a turn. You'll have to get a feel for it. And I'm going to allow this piece to turn with it. Boom, that's it. So it's not even 1/8 of a turn, it's not much. And I'm going to back it off. And what we should see here is a perfectly formed rivet head right there. So now I'll just repeat that operation real quick. And once you've got this thing down, man, you can do this so fast. It's really super easy to do it once you get the hang of it. It doesn't take long. And I really like this Rapco tool with the threaded shaft, much better than the kind you hit with a hammer. I find that it's really hard to get consistently good formed rivets using that tool. However, I will say, if you have one of those tools, and I do have one, I use this for both operations for the purpose of this video, but I will use my old style, the driven type, just for the purpose of driving out the old rivets. That works really well. I just stick it in the vise and smack it with a hammer. It's a lot faster than what I'm doing right here. And if I'm doing all the rivets at once, it might save me a couple of minutes. All right, that's it. So we've removed our old pad, we've pushed out the old rivets, and now we have installed the new pad on the backing plate, and we have perfectly formed rivets. Again, it's using the Rapco RA-825 brake rivet tool. Hope this helps.